I want you to consider something. I want you to pause your if you're going after buy owners, I actually want you to stop right now. And now a broker or somebody might have said, go after buy owners, go after them. It's like, no, I actually want you to stop. And there is a way to stop failing at FISBOs really, really quite fast. It's remarkable how your change will occur if you do the following idea. Too often we go out there ill-equipped. It's kind of like sending somebody to the front in a military with a squirt gun when everybody else when there's so much competition around there. And so we just want you to pause and get better, raise your competency, and I'm going to tell you how, right? It's going to shock you what this idea is, and that's the loan officer. And you go, why would a loan officer be helpful working with for sale by owners? All right, this is amazing. And I've done over 1,000 FISBOs, started this idea in the 1990s. I used to teach at the University of Missouri in St. Louis a course on how to sell your house by owner. My partner in teaching it was a loan officer, and we both had a role there, and it simply accelerated the buy owners moving to yes. Here's what it is. I hope you're writing this down because it's an incredible idea. They, I have a question for you as a realtor. Who has more buyers at any given time? A loan officer who pre-approves buyers and has a pipeline of pre-approved people, or your typical agent? So obviously the answer is the loan officer. That's all they do. They don't list properties. They don't hold open houses. If they don't have buyers pre-approved in their pipeline, they're in trouble. Just like a realtor, you don't have listings, you could be in trouble. You have no pendings, you could be in trouble. LOs are constantly trying to find agents to become referral partners. So here's how it works. While the loan officer can get the mortgage of the seller when they move, the loan officer can get the buyer who comes and buys the seller's house. The loan officer can start working with you. There's a trifecta of good reasons why an LO has to put in maybe a half hour a week or so into this idea to really become your referral partner. And they're going to actually, in some cases, it's not mandatory that they do this because some LOs are like, I'm not going to do that, is either one or two things. One, they call the buy owner and they ask a set of questions. Hey, I'm a loan officer. I'm not a realtor. I don't have any commission I'm looking for from you, but I've got about 17 buyers in my portfolio, my pipeline, and some of those buyers can't find a home, and they're not looking on Zillow. They're with an agent, or they're orphaned, and they're just not looking on Zillow. So if I can ask you some questions about the property. So the LO is going to learn about the property and most importantly, about the seller situation. Is it a divorce? Is it a relo? Are they listing tomorrow with their sister? Are they working a sale contract right now? We have a whole training program for the LO to get in touch with that seller. Also, the LO is trying to figure out, can I get a mortgage? And how else is the LO going to know unless they call? But the LO can't call and say, can I do your mortgage when you're moving? The LO, or even can I do the mortgage for the buyer who's buying your property? It's it's in the seller's best interest to listen to the LO. And that is, if I have a buyer that's a match and what's your price? How'd you come up with it? I'm going to see if I have 27 other LOs in my division at my company. I'm going to see if anybody else has a buyer in their pipeline for your property. As a loan officer here at this company, I call by owners and then I kind of pass it around in the office. Now, is that a good idea if you are working with buy owners to make that suggestion to them? And again, the training that we equip you with goes quite a bit deeper into how you ask these questions of a seller so that the seller starts to have what's called awareness. There are five key pieces to your listing interview that are bringing about the seller's awareness. If you watch the video on a state of readiness, If you watch that video and you go through this little vignette that I just gave you, you'll see it's one of the instruments that you're presenting, a visual instrument with the seller, and you'll when you present it to the seller, where they might say that, you know what, yeah, I should call the LO. That makes sense. They have 15. The LO may not have called and may not get hooked up on the telephone or something like that. But the LO working this idea, you working this idea, it's just common sense. Should a seller reach out to 15 realtors and ask the realtors, do you have a buyer? Or ask 15 LOs, whatever the case, do you have a buyer that's pre-approved? Now, again, you're hearing just snippets of it. You're not seeing all the details. You're not seeing the visualization. I'm giving you an idea that accelerated where I was doing about, at the time, about 100 properties a year. And most of the stuff was coming from buy owners. Again, why did I go after buy owners? Because they're moving. My friends and family weren't. And the geographic farm wasn't doing that. And open houses really weren't that fruitful. So I wanted something where I could go anytime to the prospecting river and go fishing for a buy owner. But I always took my LO with me. So my hope, your takeaway here is it's so important to integrate the loan officer. And I'm going to say one last thing. This is amazing. It's not about FISBOs. All right, you're going to win FISBOs, but it's about the relationship with a loan officer. And you got to watch the video that we recorded where the LO every year is sitting on pretty safely 2 to 5 transactions not being referred to you. So watch the other video. And this is one of the platforms you're going to use to get the LO to consider you being the one they refer their orphan buyers that they pre-approved, and when they get a buyer, new construction, or a buyer buys a house without a realtor, that loan officer is heavy influence to introduce you as the listing agent. But you can't just say, may I have the business? Just like an LO can't come up to you and say, here's my card. I have 30 years experience. That's not enough. You've got to actually demonstrate something as a loan officer to the realtor, and as the realtor to the loan officer. Hope this was helpful for you. Any questions? Go to bornbravemindset.com. Hey, I do coaching, really short-term things. I can help you out. All these videos are free. Hope I can work with you.